The purpose of this video is to share information about the IREAD 3 test that all third graders will have to take this year. If at any time during this video you need additional time to read a slide, you may pause the video. IREAD 3 was put in place to ensure that students read proficiently before moving on to fourth grade. In fourth grade, the focus shifts from learning to read to reading to learn. Therefore, it has been determined that students need to be able to read at a third grade level in order to be successful moving on. IREAD 3 stands for the Indiana Reading Evaluation and Determination. It's important to note that this is not just a third grade test, but this is actually a summative test that tests all of the skills a student has learned from kindergarten through third grade. This year, IREAD 3 will be given on March 7th, 2017. We only have a 3-day window to have every student take this test, so attendance is very important. The test is divided into 3 sections. Each section is approximately 30 minutes, so the test will be given in one day. The big question is always, what if my child does not pass? According to House Bill 1367, if students do not pass IREAD, they should not be promoted to fourth grade. But many parents want to know, does my child only have one chance, and what are my other options? If your child does not pass IREAD, then what are we going to do? One of those options would be retention in third grade, but at South Madison, we will start remediation beginning in April. They also have the option to go to a 2-week summer school session, and at the end of that 2-week session, they would be given the chance to take the IREAD 3 test again. There is no opt-out feature for this test, so all third grade students are required to take IREAD 3. Many people want to know, what does IREAD 3 look like? In this school messenger, you received the link to this video, as well as a link to some IREAD parent resources. If you open up those parent resources and find this slide and click on the IREAD 3 sample questions, it will take you to a document that has been provided by the State Department of Education that gives you sample questions like what the students will see on IREAD. South Madison does many things to prepare students for the IREAD 3. We are constantly looking at curriculum and instruction and making sure that what we are teaching is aligned with the Indiana College and Career Readiness Standards. We are putting in a variety of instructional strategies. This year at Maple Ridge, we are going to offer an after-school tutoring program that will be for 6 weeks prior to the IREAD 3 test. Students are going to be identified based on classroom performance and an NWEA RIT score that would show that they are not on track to pass IREAD. Students would stay 2 days a week after school for 6 weeks. These sessions will be taught by a certified teacher who has taught our summer school IREAD 3 sessions in the past. During the school day, third grade is reviewing the curriculum and working on those phonics skills. They're also giving the students lots of practice on the different testing structures that they may see on IREAD 3. They are still working to implement RTI. They'll be sharing several strategies with parents, and they are evaluating NWEA data to see what holes or blocks students may need to be working on. Again, if your child does not pass IREAD 3, we will begin in the spring with remediation as soon as we receive results, and they will be invited to a 2-week summer school session in June, and then they will have the option to retake the IREAD 3 test at the end of that summer school session. There are some other strategies that you might try as a parent. Reading nightly with your child is a big help. Making sure that they have at least 20 minutes per day reading, and then discussing what your child has read. Also, if you open up the IREAD 3 Parent Resources link, there are several options in there that will help you with some things that you can work on with your child. There are some computer resources that give some practice samples. There's also a link to several worksheets that you could print out and work on these with your student at home. We found this quote that says, out of school reading habits of students have shown that even 15 minutes a day of independent reading can expose students to more than 1 million words of text in a year. So the reading that they do outside of school is very powerful in building those vocabulary and those skills that they're going to need to be able to pass the IREAD 3. If you have further questions about the IREAD 3 test, you can contact your child's teacher or Mrs. Jill Moore, the instructional coach at Maple Ridge Elementary.